Hi, everyone, and welcome to the CPA Moms Podcast. I'm your host, Nicole Kehl. I'm the brand ambassador of CPA Moms, and today we're talking about when you're surrounded but still feel alone in your career. I'm joined by my mentor and friend, Mayumi Young. She has been awarded the top 50 women in accounting and has founded four mission-driven ventures since 2000 and is the founder of CPA Moms and has built a great community here. We are today going beyond the idea of networking and exploring what true connection looks like in this space, why it matters, what it unlocks for us as women in accounting, and how being part of the right community can change everything. So, from my personal experience in corporate, women really struggle to create or find a community that they feel like they really belong in accounting. It's a dog eat dog man's world. And rather than support each other and bring the feminine side in, I feel like women tend to adopt the masculine just version of leadership and success and really just go with that rather than again bringing the feminine side and learning how to support each other and really connect with other women. What has been your experience in the accounting industry?
Oh, for sure. You're spot on. Hi, everyone. Nice to see everyone, or not see everyone. Nice to speak to everyone. Um, so when I started my career in public accounting in one of the big four companies, and I always like to see who the leaders are. And so the very few women that were leading I described back in the day as men in skirts. And it basically meant that it was just, I felt like this very strong masculine energy. And that's what I emulated because I wanted to know, well, how do you become a leader? How are you successful? How do I grow in my career? And so I adopted all of those masculine traits and tendencies in my career and have taken probably years to try to deconstruct that back into my natural essence of who I am as a woman, because that was super unnatural for me and is unnatural for most women. So yeah, I think that unfortunately I still see aspects of that when you talk about the dog eat dog or competitive space. I still feel that. I still see that. Um, I'm so removed from it now because I've been in this wonderful cocoon and shelter of a loving and caring and everyone supporting and collaborating and supporting and uplifting each other that I forget that it's not like that out there. Um, but no, I absolutely had that experience as part of the reason for creating this is like I just felt like we needed a safe place to be who we actually are. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, my experience after I had my first son, I returned after maternity leave and all of that. And I had a woman in the accounting department who we had been friends prior to me leaving. We had gone out for lunch and all the things. And I don't know what shifted. Like I was completely lost, but she started going to my boss and telling him about how, oh, Nicole's leaving 2 hours earlier than everybody else and she's not doing all the work that she's supposed to be doing and really just trying to tear me down. She left out the fact that I was getting there 2 to 3 hours before everybody else and that I was still doing my job and still logging in from home, but that because I had to leave at a certain time to pick up my son from daycare, he could only stay there so many hours in a day. I don't know because obviously it's her and why she did it. I can't fully understand, but the only thing that I could think of is she just took this opportunity to lift herself up by tearing someone else down. And it was very disheartening, very confusing. And on top of, being a new mom and trying to figure that out, it just felt like betrayal. Really, and I've heard it so many times in the coffee chats I'm having with women and the other women in the community. like how surprised they are by this community and how welcome they feel and how supported they feel. And just, it's very strange to be a part of a group of women that are cheering for each other, why, rather than trying to tear each other down,
Mm.
I guess.
Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. It's really unfortunate. And yeah, you're not alone. And I think that some of the listeners in it, have probably had similar stories. Unfortunate, but real.
Right, for sure. And I know, I mean, you can't be a part of every community, right? To kind of revive the recent podcast we had on defining your values, there's only so much time in a day. So you can't be in every community, you can't go to every event, you can't do everything and try to find those true, genuine connections. So you have to be kind of strategic in it. But how do you choose then? How do you find one that you feel like really aligns and that will support rather than getting in and getting torn down and having that horrible experience? Can you talk to how any tips on what to look for to find genuine connection?
Absolutely. I mean, when we allow our natural feminine essence to be the driving force of how we live our life everywhere we go, work, everywhere. And one of the um aspects of our feminine power, and by the way, the feminine energy is the most powerful energy on the planet. We don't understand that power that we have in our feminine. We're often guided by our feelings and intuition. And I think that if I said that in my corporate life or back in public, like, I'm going to make decisions based on my feelings and intuition, I would have been laughed straight out of there. Like, no one would have taken me seriously. But what I say often to women that I mentor and support is, how does it make you feel? What does your gut tell you? And if we can turn our brain off for just a minute, you get a sense of people pretty quickly. And you get a sense of a place, you get a sense of a community. And you might not be able to put your finger on why that place makes you feel good or why you want to be around that person or those people. And you also get the opposite. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation that hasn't felt quite right. And maybe the back of your hairs on the back of your neck stood up a little bit and you're like, I gotta get out of here. These are not my people. I don't feel safe here, or something. There's a feeling associated with it when we can shut off our brain long enough to get a sense of, is this the right place for me? And I think being able to go back and use our emotional guidance system as well as our intuition to guide us to the right places, the right community, the right people, the right mentors, the right everything, that's going to take us far in life. And I think it's one of our superpowers that we have locked away in a closet because it's not it's not considered a skill in the business world. And I disagree with that. I think it's one of your greatest skills. And if you hone it and you redevelop it and you give yourself permission to be guided by that.
Yeah, definitely. So, in your experience, what shifts when you stop trying to fit into a space and instead just find one where you naturally belong?
Well, when you don't fit into the space, and I get I'll give an example from my personal life. So when I was 8 years old, I was born in San Francisco. My father was military, so he was stationed in Massachusetts. So my entire upbringing, I was raised in central Massachusetts. And I don't know how an 8-year old knows this, but I knew that I didn't belong there. I didn't know where else. I mean, I'd never been exposed to any place else, but I just didn't feel like that was my home. I just always had the sense that I didn't belong there. Fast forward through a whole bunch of scenarios, college, post college, I put in for a transfer from my first public accounting job to move where it didn't snow because I hated the weather. And I transferred to San Diego, where I currently live. Drove across country, and the minute I crossed through the invisible border of what is San Diego County and drove into San Diego for the first time, because I picked the city off a map, I had never even been there. I literally had this overwhelming feeling for the first time in my life, and I was in my early 20s, and it was, I'm home. And so, and I hadn't even seen anything yet. I just crossed through the, welcome to San Diego, right? Like that. So, what shifts when you are where you kind of tolerate the experience because maybe you don't know that there's actually something better. You don't know what to look for. I didn't know what to look for. I moved because of weather. I didn't move because I'm like, well, I'm trying to find a place where it feels like home. I didn't say that. I said, I don't like being cold anymore. Let me go where it's warm. And also got this byproduct of, oh gosh, not only do I have this great weather, but now I actually feel at home. So, what shifts is your ability to get into greater alignment, whether you're consciously aware of what's happening or not, but you get into greater alignment of who you are, what you value, what's important to you when you follow positive emotions, good feelings. If you, my husband says, follow the tingles, follow, go where it feels good. I don't know who said this, what the quote is, but go where you're celebrated, not merely tolerated. And I think that a lot of us just stay put where we are. Now, I was 8, so I didn't really have a say, but we're all adults here, right? So we stay where we are because we don't know any better, or don't know that there is better, but we feel and sense that that's not really where we belong, and those aren't our people, and we're not totally seen. We don't get to like truly connect at a true level, emotional level, a heart to heart connection with another human being. And people say, oh, a sisterhood. Well, what does that mean really? I grew up an only child. Like, what does that mean really? And it's just like this true connection where you could truly be yourself and be seen as yourself without judgment. We're the antithesis of your story, Nicole, like the antithesis of, you know, you have a baby and other people are like backing you up, not tearing you down. Are the people around you lifting you up? So what shifts? I think everything. Because your environment is so important to your experience of life and your ability to accomplish your vision and your goals in life, to how you feel day to day, whether you feel seen, whether you feel valued, whether you feel understood, appreciated, acknowledged. I mean, a lot of us just think we're doing it wrong. And to be around people who are like, oh, you're feeling what I'm feeling. Oh, you're going through what I'm going through. That relatability, the care, the consideration, I don't know. There's so much. Everything shifts. Nothing stays the same. Anyways, hope I answered your question.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally agree with that. I think my saving grace during that experience was that there was another woman in the accounting department as well, that she actually had been hired to fill in for me while I was on maternity leave. But we just created such a bond. She had a child, and she was the exact opposite of the other one, that other experience. But we would go in and commiserate and just share stories, and it just created such a bond. I worked with her less than 2 years, but we are still friends to this day, just because it was such a period of time for me, like such a life-changing, transformative period, and dealing with being a new mom and all of that, and then also having this trauma of this friend before betray me, that it just created such a bond with us that it feels like an unbreakable bond, really. And I think that is so important to have those people in your life that have helped you get through some pretty, I don't want to say traumatic, but almost traumatic experiences. So what would you say to someone who feels very isolated and maybe doesn't have that person in their firm or their corporate job or just in their life right now that they can depend on? What are steps that they can take to find that in their life and they don't know how to start? What step could they take?
Well, first of all, the majority of professionals that I've worked with, because most of what I've done for the last almost 20 years is help people leave their job to go launch and grow their own practice. And what happens a lot, whether if they don't work with us inside of our community of women and all this support, is all these folks that went out on their own, they have this incredible feeling of isolation and loneliness, especially in this very virtual world. And and I, the key, I think, the very first step is finding a community, number one, that you can connect with, that share your values, that kind of have the same vision, understand who you are, and you can relate to them. But I think I hesitate to say this because it may sound a little weird, but when you really care about something that's important to you and you really want to make connections, what you put into it, you get back. So just joining a community isn't going to build connections if you just sit in the background and read everybody else's comments and not show up and not participate and not like engage and make it an intention to connect. And so anytime I have felt like in my life, I have felt like I've transitioned or out, I'm not really aligned with the group of people I had hung out with in school or whatever, or I moved and I wanted to create a new friend circle. I got really intentional about it, like I do anything in that I want to have an outcome. I'm not sitting passively waiting for that result to happen to me. I get clear about what I'm out to cause, and then I start moving in that direction. So, for example, and this may be a little dated because it was a long time ago when I had kind of first left my corporate life and became an entrepreneur. I had worked so much that I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any girlfriends. My relationship of 11 years ended, and I was feeling very lonely, very alone. And back then, there were like boy meets girl, girl meets boy. There wasn't any other options other than that in the newspaper. And then there was a third section there were three people paid for these ads in the newspaper. Some of you are too young to even know what that newspaper is. Just kidding. Anyways, they had this like, advertisement, and there were three ads for friends, people seeking friendship. And I just happened to see it. And I read all three, and two didn't resonate with me at all. And one actually did. And it was a woman that lived close by, and we both shared a passion for rollerblading. This is how long ago this was, early 2000s. And we met up to go rollerblading around the bay and hit it off immediately, like I knew her my whole life. And we were friends instantly. all because I said I wanted to have girlfriends. I was very lonely. I went and looked where I thought maybe I could find a friend, which in this case was a newspaper. There's all kinds of, now so much easier. Facebook groups out, everywhere, meetup groups, our community for sure. Like all these places that you could go where your interests are, right? So if you like working out, well then make it your intention to start a conversation with somebody at the gym that you work out at. If you like music, then go to a concert and talk to, like, you literally have to make an effort. So, join these groups that are doing, meeting for the purpose of connection. And then put yourself out there. And not everyone that I tried to make, build a relationship did I actually like once I got to know them. So I just sort of, we kind of moved away from each other. I didn't go in immediately like, I want to be your best friend. Don't be weird. But make an effort, put yourself out there, and you'll be surprised how quickly, once you make the intention and you start telling people that you're looking to build out your friend network. And do you know anyone that likes to hike? Anyone likes to work out? Anyone, you know, I posted on a Facebook group recently. Oh, so this is a more current story. I'm on a women's group that women over a certain age without children. And I posted on there, I'm like, well, I want a workout buddy. And I go to this specific gym. Um, and they have an infrared sauna and they have does anyone want to go with me? And two people responded. One person missed the part about joining that particular gym, and the other woman who responded is like, they have an infrared sauna, it's $35 a month. What? Sign me up. And we met at the gym, and again, instant friends. We are still friends to this day. She's lovely. We just sit and laugh and talk, and I just enjoy her thoroughly. So you never know what's going to happen. Put yourself out there, see what happens.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I think, I mean, specifically in the accounting industry, it's nice to have friends at work, right? And as accountants, we tend to maybe not put ourselves out there, like you said. And so there can be other women in your department at work that, maybe you feel like they're judging you or they're against you or all these things, but maybe they're just doing the same thing you're doing, is sitting back and waiting for someone to come up to them. So yes, put yourself out there and see what happens. And if you can't find it in your department, find it in a different department at work that will still give you that feeling of having connections in the accounting industry. And also, like you mentioned, Facebook communities, there are communities available for accountant women. Hey, check out CPA Mom's Facebook community.
Plug.
And but yes, I mean, I think it comes back to true connection. So finding those spaces that feel safe, aligned, supportive, but also then you have to show up as you are and put yourself out there and try to make those connections and make them authentic connections. And then, the power of that when you do that, of truly being seen for you, who you are, and feeling accepted for you, who you are, like that can just change everything, really.
I'll add one other thing for those that aren't in a corporate job and have their own business, have their own practice or firm. I hire people that I actually want to hang around with. Like I'm hired, and I'm not best friends with everyone that I hire, but they're all people that I want to be around, that I actually like, that I trust, that I enjoy their company, that I want to, we do events all the time. And so I want to be, we're going to rent a house together. I want to actually be in the same house with this person, right? Like, and so, and even though everyone's got different personalities, because you don't want to hire people that are just clones of you, that's a whole nother separate podcast. how to hire the right people. But so you don't want clones of you, but you do want to have this sort of like authentic connection with the people and a true like for the people that you work with. So don't overlook that too. Like, building a team of people that you enjoy is you you don't the power of going on your own is you no longer have to work with people you don't like. And that was not the case for me in my jobs. There were definitely people that if I had the choice, they would not be working in the same place that I did. We did not get along. Or I didn't like them or I didn't admire them. Um, and so this is your chance to like create a team that everyone likes everyone. Like, what would that be like? So yeah.
Absolutely, yes. I've gotten to a point in my life, quite honestly, and I think this comes with creating the life that you want. A piece of that is like, I don't want to be around people I don't like. I don't, maybe it's getting older and they say once you get to a certain age, like you don't care anymore
Yep.
about, but I guess getting on other people's nerves or making other people angry. Yeah, I mean, I've just gotten to the point where like if I don't like you, if you get on my nerves or whatever it is, like I just don't want to be around you. Like, no thanks. So yes, for sure, like the people I hire are people that I like. I want to be around you. And if you are someone I don't like once you get in, like this isn't gonna last just because I have to deal with you on a day-to-day basis. Why would I want to sign myself up to be around someone that I don't enjoy being around? For sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mayumi, for this conversation. It's been a great one, really fun.
Thank you. Always enjoy it. You are one of the people I always enjoy talking to and being around.
Yes, yes, me too, for sure. That's it for today's episode. At CPA Moms, we believe women can have a successful career and raise a happy family. So if you are ready to embrace work-life harmony and connect with like-hearted women like we've been talking about, I know where you can find a lot of them. CPA Moms Facebook community. Just click the link in the show notes or search CPA Moms on Facebook. We can't wait to welcome you. Until next time, thank you for being here. We see you, we believe in you, and we can't wait to grow with you.